General Zeta, Revenge for a Broken Heart. General Zeta's villainy didn't come from hunger or power. It came from heartbreak. Once she was engaged to Mighty Eagle, a hero she trusted and adored. But he left her, abandoning their future without a second thought. That betrayal festered into fury, and her icy island became both her fortress and her prison. Every plot, every scheme, wasn't about senseless domination. It was about proving that no one could discard her and go unpunished. She built weapons not just to conquer land, but to shatter the reputation of the one who hurt her most. In her eyes, love had humiliated her, so she turned that pain into strength. Zeta went rogue because she refused to be remembered as a forgotten fiancée. She wanted to rewrite her story, to show the world and her ex that she was not someone to be left behind. Titan, the forgotten nobody. Hal wasn't born to be a hero. He was invisible, overlooked, and ignored by everyone around him. As a cameraman, he watched Roxanne fall for heroes while he stood in the background, unnoticed. He craved recognition, affection, and purpose. But life never gave him any of it. When Megamind's experiment gave Hal powers, it wasn't just super strength he gained. It was finally the chance to matter. Everyone thought they had a new hero to stop Megamind, but Titan had other plans. For the first time, people couldn't look past him, but instead of applause, he was treated like a joke, told he wasn't fit to be a hero. That rejection cut deeper than all the years of being ignored. So Hal embraced the darker path. Going rogue wasn't about chaos for its own sake. It was the rebellion of a man tired of being invisible. Titan was Hal's answer to a world that never cared who he was, until he forced them to. Kingpin, the man who couldn't let go. Wilson Fisk wasn't born a monster. He was a husband, a father, and a man who believed in protecting his family above all else. But when tragedy struck and his loved ones were taken from him, grief consumed him. The Kingpin wasn't motivated by greed or chaos. He was fueled by desperation to rewrite reality itself. His collider wasn't about power. It was about bringing his family back, even if it ripped the multiverse apart. To him, the risk didn't matter, because what's a world worth living in without the ones you love? Society labeled him a criminal, but deep down his villainy was born from love and unbearable loss. Kingpin went rogue because he couldn't accept a life built on absence, and maybe, who among us truly could? The Grinch. The Grinch wasn't born cruel, he was pushed there. High above Whoville, he lived in isolation, hearing laughter he was never part of. The Grinch hates Christmas because, as a lonely child, he was mocked and hurt by the Whos during the Christmas season, an experience that led to his emotional scarring and deep-seated bitterness towards the holiday and their happiness. So, when he decided to steal Christmas, it wasn't just spite, it was defiance. He wanted to expose that their happiness was shallow, dependent on gifts and noise. His rebellion was a statement against the unfairness of being left out. In truth, the Grinch had every right to go rogue, because joy that ignores the suffering of one isn't true joy at all. His act forced Whoville to finally see him, proving he was never the villain. They were. Chef Skinner, a man. Defending his legacy. Chef Skinner's rage wasn't born out of thin air. It came from watching his life's work slip away, not to a rival chef, but to a rat. Gusteau's was already losing its spark, and Skinner was scrambling to preserve its legacy, even if it meant franchising the name into frozen food. Then came Remy, a rat who not only invaded the kitchen, but began outshining everyone, commanding the staff through sheer culinary brilliance. To Skinner, this wasn't inspiration, it was humiliation. Imagine the shame if the world discovered Gusteau's finest meals were being cooked by vermin. And worse, the rat was slowly taking over his kitchen, his authority, and the brand he was trying to protect. So Skinner fought back, not just out of ego, but out of fear. Fear that a rat would undo everything he'd built and leave him remembered as the fool who let vermin run his restaurant. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. The man life chewed up. Doofenshmirtz is often painted as a joke, a bumbling scientist with ridiculous innators and elaborate schemes. But look deeper, and you'll see a man shaped by cruelty. Abandoned by his family, forced to stand in for a lawn gnome as a child, and constantly belittled by those around him, he was set up to fail long before he became a villain. His inventions, silly as they seem, were his way of taking control in a world that had always laughed at him. Was it so wrong to want respect? To want recognition after a lifetime of humiliation? Doofenshmirtz wasn't really trying to conquer the world. He was trying to heal the wounds of his past the only way he knew how. His evil was just the desperate cry of a man who never got the love he needed. Kai, the forgotten brother in arms. Kai wasn't just a villain swinging chains. He was once Oogway's closest ally. Together they fought battles and brought peace to China. But when Oogway discovered the mystical chi of the pandas, everything changed. Oogway saw its beauty. Kai saw its power. To him, harnessing chi wasn't evil. It was the ultimate weapon to protect their world. Yet Oogway rejected him, cast him out, and rewrote history so that Kai became a name forgotten by time. Imagine devoting your life to fighting alongside someone, only to be erased from the story. When Kai returned, it wasn't just conquest, it was reclamation. He wanted recognition, respect, and the chance to prove that his vision of strength wasn't wrong. To him, stealing chi wasn't cruelty. It was justice for being abandoned and forgotten by the very brother he once bled beside. Yzma, the woman pushed aside. Yzma wasn't born power-hungry, she was loyal. For years, she served as advisor, strategist, and the true mind behind Emperor Kuzco's throne. She kept the empire running while Kuzco wasted his days in vanity and selfish indulgence. Then, without warning, she was dismissed, cast aside like yesterday's trash by the very boy she had raised into power. To Yzma, this wasn't just an insult, it was betrayal. She had given her life to the empire only to be told she was irrelevant. Going rogue wasn't about seizing the throne out of greed. It was about restoring order, putting someone competent in charge. After all, Kuzco nearly destroyed his kingdom through arrogance. Why shouldn't Yzma step in? To her, rebellion wasn't evil, it was responsibility. She didn't see herself as a villain, she saw herself as the only adult in the room.